In a world in crisis, can three idiots find hope in the darkest of places? Will love conquer all, or will hate win out in the end? This is a show called Hate.
Well, hello and welcome to a show called Hate, a podcast in which we explore love, hate, and everything in between, in search of greater meaning and perhaps a little perspective. I'm John.
I'm Nick.
I'm Chris.
And, I generally follow that up by saying we're back.
We're back.
But we are back.
Yeah.
That's
it's always such a surprise.
That's factually accurate.
We would be back.
So do we need a disclaimer before we go live to say that each of us, in our own little way, have genuine, profound hatreds this week, which we won't be talking about because they are perhaps a little too close to home? Is that fair?
For disclaimers purposes, I'm going to say no.
Yeah,
I
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
No.
what?
My lawyer has advised me to say.
Which is why we have the kind of like the half-hour pre-show
Yeah.
before coming on air, in which we get the real kind of beef off.
This is all just an act.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, this is all just a performance. This is all heavily scripted.
Heavily.
What does it say on the next page?
Pauses for yeah. But no, so aside from the general kind of gripes in our life, how's everyone doing?
How am I?
No, I said everyone.
Well, let's make it about you.
How am I?
How are you?
Shit, mate.
Oh.
Shit.
Oh. So not even going to try and pretend to...
This is some real behind the scenes, like...
This is meta in a way,
Really
isn't
peeking
it?
behind the curtain.
This is like I'm not even faking it this time. I'm just genuinely full of
He's
hate.
fuming.
No, I'm all right. I'm fine actually. In an actual professional answer, I'm all right.
Cool. I'm glad. Nick,
I'll pass.
I too am okay. Yeah, I'm fine.
Should we talk about a positive thing in your life? Do you not? Unless this turns out to
I'm
be...
going to have to dig really deep for that now.
I was going. Well, that
Are
wasn't.
you thinking of one specifically?
Well, I was going to say I don't. This is. I hope this isn't your love. But do you not have a new addition to your
Oh, yes.
family?
It isn't my love.
Good. Good.
I hope it's not your hate.
Oh.
That'd be even worse.
Oh, good. No.
Yes, I've got a child.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
It's awful.
No, Ali and I have recently acquired a cat.
Mm.
And she's called Dumpling.
Yeah.
And we love her very much. And she's an older cat. She's a rescue. Yeah, we've had her for 2 weeks, just coming up to 2 weeks now, I think. I think she's kind of getting used to the fact that this is it. This is her life now.
This is it.
This is how it ends.
It's never going to get better than this.
I mean, she's 14 years old, so this is how it ends.
What's that in cat years? How does?
I think it's like 139 or something.
It's good innings. Great innings.
She's
That.
doing really well.
How does?
Bless her. Well, that's 7, isn't it, for every year?
I thought
Well,
it
that
was
was
dogs.
dogs. Yeah, and that's not actually true.
Is it not?
They
So it's not
age
dogs,
at different rates each year.
Oh,
Oh, so like year 1 is like maybe a year.
100.
Year 2 is like.
let me Google it.
Year 1 is like quite a lot. It's like maybe 8,
Mm.
and then it's from 3 onwards. It's sort of the gap lessens,
Cat years.
decreases, if you will.
Well, Daisy. How old is Daisy?
Daisy's 18
Right,
months in
suck
human
it.
years.
1 human year is the equivalent of 7 cat years.
Oh, there you go.
The thing is that
Suck it.
that equivalency has always troubled me because they're like, did they work out the average age that a cat goes to university and then kind of like?
Yes, that's how they reverse engineered it. Yeah.
double that out.
Is that true of all animals?
Well, this cat's got a
How
mortgage.
much is a tortoise year
Well,
in human
They-
years?
I'll look it
They
up.
point
I'll look
three
it
or
up,
something.
Chris.
yeah, they'd be the opposite, wouldn't they? Because
They live to like 100.
there's a tortoise
That's
alive.
true. They'd be like negative years. No, wait.
Point.
Yeah.
something.
Isn't there
something
like
every year.
there's a tortoise at a zoo in London? This is a lie, but
It sounds like you're making this up, John.
But didn't like
Yeah, it sounds like a story.
Didn't Darwin bring it back or something like that? Like it's like 100.
Oh, not this specific one.
Yeah,
Darwin brought it back.
yeah.
That sounds made up.
Darwin brought a tortoise back.
Well, no, he ate most of them because they were so delicious.
del-
That's true, actually.
That was
Yeah,
on
yeah,
QI,
That was on
wasn't it? I
QI.
remember
Yeah.
They were supposed to bring back all these tortoises so we could examine them, and they ended up eating them all because they were so delicious.
Let's just have another one.
Apparently, they're incredibly tender
And
'cause
maybe addictive.
because they move so slowly. Apparently, so
Oh, that makes sense.
gentle
yeah.
muscles.
It's like
yeah.
a slow cooked something.
You
I
never-
looked up
yeah.
tortoise years.
Please, yeah.
And I found out that 1 horse year equals 5 or 6 human years. That's what Google
That's
gave
not
me.
not what we asked.
Thanks, Google. But scrolling down a bit, tortoises age very slowly. For example, a 25-year-old tortoise is roughly equivalent to an 8-year-old human.
Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting, yes. So my point being is that there is a tortoise alive today which was alive when Queen Victoria was on the throne, was alive when...
Do you think he met Queen Victoria?
You must have some stories.
Oh.
Tortoise stories.
God, let's think this. If that tortoise could talk,
What if, like, the tortoise was a great kind of repository of knowledge,
Like,
but just
yeah.
didn't want to share? Like, he was just very like, no.
If you cut him open though, like look at the rings.
bleeds
You
knowledge.
can see like all of the history of
But every time you count, he gets younger because someone's peeling off a delicious ring. Because that tortoise is so
delicious.
tasty.
Like an
it
onion.
tastes like it's been cooked, but it's raw.
It's like a fruit.
incredible.
It's like a fruit roll up.
You can just imagine them in cages at the bottom of the boat, can't you? It's just like, we've had a couple of them. We need some for research, guys. And then like the bosun is like,
that
can
bosun.
we crack open another tortoise?
Oh,
Like,
just
one more tortoise.
Just one.
You've still got a couple of weeks at sea before we get home. Can we get another tortoise in? Come on, lads, get a tortoise.
I love
in.
that.
It's a stunning lack of self-control.
And these are scientists.
Now, guys, now we know what happened last time. I'm just saying, smash cut.
It's just
What have you
loads of empty
done?
shells. What have you done?
The boat just turning around once they've run out of tortoises.
To the Galapagos.
Come on, we're going back.
It's an all-you-can-eat buffet over there.
Apparently, and again, I'm only quoting things I've learned off QI now. Not only were they delicious, they are a great source of water, of fresh drinking water, because apparently they store it.
Really?
Yeah, so not only do you get like a really tasty meal, there's a very refreshing drink waiting for you.
Wash it all down.
I know, and it comes in its
That
own
does sound
bowl.
good.
Yeah, it comes in a serving dish. It's like the equivalent of a drive-through, you know, but in an animal form.
Do you think you could flip the tortoise onto its back and then just push it over a fire and it would
Chow
just
down.
cook?
Well,
like
this is
in-
what what's his face, Bear Grylls. I saw him do that. Like he was. In
Oh,
the
he'll eat
wild,
anything though,
and
won't
he smashed a tortoise's head in with a rock, so it's dead. And then he just upturned it and just chucked it on the fire,
On fire.
and then it just cooked inside the shell. And then he like hacked it open, and he ate out of it like a sort of casserole dish.
While I would never...
It was horrifying.
He's a dangerously insane human being.
While
Bear
I would
Grylls.
I would never wish to call Bear Grylls' survival skills into question.
No, don't, because he'll be here.
But do you... Oh, God, what's that?
He's inside the house.
I feel like he goes to extreme measures too quickly.
Yes.
Bear Grylls. He could
He's
probably
a
do some steps in
sensationalist.
between.
Do you feel like he's inviting it as well? Like...
Has he ever actually got lost?
Can he get lost?
Can anyone really get lost?
Can anyone really? Maybe this is where we were all meant to be.
That's very poetic in a way, but not really.
Not in a good way.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know, if you have to, like, you know, kill a mountain lion and, you know, wear half of it for warmth and the other half for some kind of perverse sexual pleasure, that's fine when you're lost in the woods. I mean, yeah, we've all been there.
But we know you're not lost, Bear.
Yeah,
Because
exactly. This is
there's
television.
a cameraman with you, at least.
Oh yeah. That's a good point.
I think I saw something about him in the news the other day. Like, he might
What's
be...
he done?
Bear Grylls cameraman.
No, Bear Grylls.
Oh, I see.
No one cares about the cameraman.
No. He's
Well,
he's expendable, isn't he?
Many of them die, I think.
It's like the tortoises. Like, Bear Grylls will leave the studio with 8 cameramen, but only one will return.
Do you think they're there with a pot noodle while he's eating out of a tortoise out of a shell?
This is what I always think as well. Like he sat there like squeezing elephant shit to
Yeah.
get like a cup of water to survive, and they're sat there with like Gatorade. Like, what is your problem?
Come on, Bear, join the party. A few beers.
I used to have a bit of an addiction to not bear shit, but there was a there used to be a
Bear
show
Grylls is shit though.
in the early days of
Not
reality
only
TV.
TV first.
Remember Ray
Mears.
Mears?
Is he the one
Yeah.
who died? No, that's Steve Irwin.
Yeah, although they did look vaguely similar.
They did, didn't they?
Isn't that?
I know the
funny?
name Raimi is. I can't picture him.
Uh,
Now I'm just thinking about Steve Irwin.
Oh god.
Oh,
yeah. There was
Take it too
a
soon.
Google Doodle.
I saw that. Yeah.
Memorialising.
Yes, there was, wasn't there? Yeah.
And then Peter got involved.
That Peter. He's such
Yeah,
a kid.
PETA.
Oh.
Yeah. And they were slagging off Google because they were like, "Oh, Steve Irwin was cruel to animals." He wasn't really. He was kind to animals mainly.
Also, Peter Peter do some weird things themselves. I
They
think
do.
kind of like
Oh,
glass,
yeah.
glass houses and all that.
Absolutely.
Hey, speaking of this podcast, we're supposedly
Oh
recording.
yeah, we're recording
yeah,
something, aren't we? I wonder why these microphones were here.
And speaking of the great outdoors, can I start the hate?
Oh,
yeah.
go on then.
I hate the great outdoors.
I hate free soloing.
What? Free soloing.
I've never heard of that term.
Right. I'd gone most of my adult life without knowing what free soloing was, and I was quite happy to not know that this existed.
Just bear in mind you're about to take that away from both of us.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm about to lose my innocence, I feel.
You're going to pop our cherries.
climbing.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, no.
Climbing mountains and stuff.
Is this... Sorry, you go.
Yeah, so... I'm going to get this wrong now. But apparently, basically free soloing is climbing without a rope.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I've seen this.
I
I've
see.
seen footage.
It's like
of
when you
this.
jump clean off a rock and onto the next bit.
I imagine that's
like that.
there's a degree of flair.
But there's
to
no
that.
rope. They're just on the side
Yeah.
of a mile-high
Yeah,
cliff
yeah.
face.
Yes.
I understand.
Now, the only reason this has even come to my attention is we can thank YouTube's algorithms, because suddenly I've started seeing a lot of videos.
You suffer from algorithms, don't you?
I do, yeah.
I've never heard anyone else suffer quite as badly as you do with algorithms.
I know, it's weird. But they're all just like really weird and, sometimes mundane things. Like
I think you probably look at like some random shit,
Yeah.
like, in a good way.
Yeah.
And
YouTube
all the
shit.
algorithm probably goes, "Oh, this guy likes weird shit. Let's
He
just
does-
throw everything at him."
See what sticks.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
for 2 weeks, it's nothing but like woodworking. Oh, this guy.
He loves
he
the
loves-
woodwork.
loves
Can't
a
get
bit of
enough of the
woodworking.
lathe, and here he is. But no, so there is a gentleman called Alex Honnold,
Oh,
Honnold.
and he is basically a superhuman.
Right.
cool.
So if you were to look at him, he is, to all intents and purposes, the all-American kind of like just a great big slab of
Broad
all-American meat.
shoulders.
No. Here's the thing.
Oh.
He's lanky
I see.
Okay.
in that American way you get.
Well, that would
sometimes.
surely help with rope-free climbing.
Yes. Now here's the thing, because it's not like he's not big and buff.
No,
he's just
it's
big.
Kind of strengthened.
But he has that kind of weird, natural, quiet confidence which some Americans have.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's almost zen. He's so kind of just chilled. He's probably about our age, if not younger.
Oh, God.
But he's lean. You probably wouldn't look twice at him if you saw him. But he's ripped, like absolutely shredded in that kind of like quite terrifying way. Where
It's
like
the Spider-Man morphology.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So basically, this came up on my YouTube, and it was like climbing expert breaks down famous climbing scenes in movies.
Okay.
So they had him in a chair, and he was just kind of sitting and talking about famous scenes in movies. And he explained, and it annoyed him because all the climbing that was being done in the movies, he was like, "That's not free soloing." He was like, I'm going to get the words wrong, but he's like, "That's free climbing."
Right. Okay.
But
What
does
I-
the movie describe it as free soloing?
No, but I think he was just kind of
Ah.
splitting hairs. But he was like free soloing is when like it's just you. Or like free climbing is when it's you, a rope, pins, but you don't have a partner.
okay.
But as you climb a mountain, like you put little
You're pinning
pins
it
in, and you
yeah,
have
sure.
and you have a rope. But free soloing is literally just you, your bare hands,
Bare hands.
and a
Bear Grylls' hands.
and a bag of chalk.
Right.
So
That terrifies the shit out
so
of me.
he's talking, and I don't know who this guy is, other than I'm like, oh, he seems like quite a cool guy. He's very chilled and just
Knowledgeable.
effortlessly calm and cool. But as he's talking, and he's holding a remote in his hand, because the idea is that he can pause the clips and talk about it.
Oh yeah.
I notice his hands are massive.
Of course they are.
Like Nick, you're an artist.
I am.
You draw.
I draw from time to time.
You've
Yeah.
recently been complaining about a bit of like kind of
little
carpal
bit of RSI.
tunnel. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
repetitive strain injury. This guy has muscular hands.
Oh my
Does he
God.
have weights for his fingers?
No, as in like I've never seen a man with muscular fingers.
Yeah.
So like he holds up his hands, and quite casually, every one of his fingers is like the diameter of my thumb. Like
Oh my God.
they're just, and it's simply because he has strong muscles in his hands, so like they get a workout.
That's crazy.
So he was talking, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's kind of compelling. I don't know anything about climbing." And he was talking about like, "Oh, here's a scene from like Mission Impossible 2 where Tom Cruise is up a
tree.
up a massive stone
Up a
tower
horse.
in Utah," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've done that. That's kind of cool." You know,
Oh.
but basically that then prompted all these videos about him to appear on YouTube.
Sure.
And I was suddenly like, why is this guy suddenly everywhere?
Yeah.
Like, and it seems he is. Like, New York Times interviewed him. You know, BuzzFeed have done pieces on him. And the reason is that in the last year, he has become the first human ever to free solo a massive stone wall in, I think, Yosemite National Park in America called El Capitan,
Oh,
Oh.
which
sounds
is
impressive.
3,000 feet high.
Whew.
And it is almost smooth vertical rock.
Oh my God.
And
Because I'm getting sweaty palms
Yeah.
just thinking about
Yeah.
that.
And I think I perhaps have the most profound fear of heights.
I think I've sold myself.
Oh, wow, well, that's great.
One slip, one.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's dead.
You're gone.
But also, it's like, what a horrific way to go.
Mm.
Like, unless you pass out from the shock of the fall, you're on the way down just thinking, well,
Yeah,
This is
you'd
it.
be in the air long enough to
well,
think about how
fuck.
badly
I
screwed
did
up.
this.
Yeah.
There's no safety rope here because I did this.
But that's the thing. He's like, so he's talking about how he spent like 2 years preparing for it. So he climbed El Capitan several times with a rope.
With a rope.
Okay.
Yeah, like with a partner or everything.
Did he ever fall while he was on the rope?
No. Well, I don't know, but I guess maybe I don't know.
Imagine if he did.
There's a documentary about him. I'm quite keen to watch it because they were talking to some
I
of
feel
his,
like I might get very stressed out watching it.
but some of his climber friends
Have died.
decided to film him
Climber
while he
buddies,
was
they're
doing
called.
it. So there was almost like a making of. There's like a 10-minute thing about the making of the documentary about him climbing the wall because they're like, we've got this thing where we want to film him, but like if we film him and he dies,
Oh, God.
like
What do we do with it?
we can't use that footage, and also we
No.
don't want to distract him
Yeah,
when he's
true.
doing it. So
Oh, God,
it was
yeah.
all about the logistics of trying to keep out of his way while he was doing it. But he spent like 2 years just memorizing the route up. And even at one point, him and his mate went up there with ropes and went to like one particular ledge that had a ton of like loose gravel on it.
Right.
And they cleared all the gravel out into their rucksacks and
Right.
carried it down again just to clear the way. And he said that they were worried that when he was climbing, if he ended up kicking that gravel, it could like kill someone like far below.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's going through all this, and it's like, and it's almost weird. Like he talks about it with such a sense of like calm detachment
Like inevitability almost.
that I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, this seems perfectly normal. Like I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I'll give that a go at some point, probably.
Yeah, but it's,
We've got a weekend.
but they're
Yeah,
saying
I'll
like
go over.
apparently like really experienced climbers it can take them like a day to climb El Capitan, and he did it in 3 hours without a rope.
With just his fingers.
Yeah, with his massive muscular fingers. So he was describing like the different kind of grabs he'll do.
Holds, yeah.
Yeah, and was saying how like obviously there's the obvious one. Oh, it's a ledge.
Yeah.
I'm just going to climb it like any of us weak normal people.
Because I couldn't even do that.
No,
I
it's
can't
really
stress
hard.
enough
Yeah.
that I couldn't lift my own body weight
My body is
above
quite
my head.
My body
I could
is
do
quite
maybe
heavy.
one pull-up on a good day.
Yeah.
If I've had a few beers.
If I was in a pool, I could do it.
Yeah,
Pull
no, I'd
myself
say,
out
yeah.
of a swimming pool.
But he was like, but then he's saying, so then if you can imagine, if you've got a ledge and you're like, I can use my whole hands to pull myself up. And then he's like, well, what if the ledge is shallower and you can only use the length of your fingers?
Well,
That's,
when you give up.
I'm like, okay, that's maybe doable.
No, that's when I go
home. Like, and then I would cry for a long time.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then it gets worse. And he's like, and sometimes you have to use just like 2 knuckles. He said, and sometimes, and he's going like, sometimes it's just 1 knuckle is all you can get on. And he's talking about like climbing a vertical crack where he was saying like, he's saying like the wall is as smooth as glass, but there is a vertical slice running down. So he's saying how you are both hands in this crack, kind of like.
That is mental.
And he's saying sometimes you get to a crack and you jam both your hands in, and you let them fall a bit, and he said, "Are you perfectly safe?" And he's like, "Oh yeah," and then both my hands are just kind of wedged in.
I've heard about a hold where you put you've got quite a big crevasse now. We're talking about like maybe, I don't know, 5-6 inches wide, and you put your hand in with your palm flat, and then you make a ball of a fist, and then you can't get your hand out of that crevasse, and that's a hold. And then when you want to get out because you've got climbed past that, you then flatten your hand out again, pull it out. That just boggles my mind to think that you could rely on your hand just being a ball to hold you.
It's astonishing, and it's like it's not just the fact that like, oh, it's 3 hours to climb 3,000.
I haven't done anything for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe a poo.
That was exhausted.
I sat in a meeting.
Knackered.
I sat in a meeting for 3 hours the other day, and I was knackered.
And achieved nothing.
Yeah, I know. Achieved less than this man did.
Yeah.
And I'm serious. Seriously though, I've sat on a bus for 3 hours, maybe a couple of times. Well, no, probably a few times. My arse hurts.
Yeah.
After 3 hours sitting
And
down
we're doing
in the same
nothing.
plane. I'm literally sitting there doing nothing.
Well, in all fairness, the one thing we can probably guarantee is that his ass didn't hurt because he wasn't using it at all.
His glutes.
Yeah. Which is
Probably
all
very
with the leg.
loose,
The
if
thing that
anything.
really scares the shit out of me when I think about this sort of thing, and I do because I see it in movies and I see clips. I haven't seen this guy, but I've thought about this sort of thing before. When you started talking about it, I was like, oh, it's this. What scares me is the idea that you could get halfway and you maybe get to a ledge or something, and you're like, I can't go on.
Yeah.
Like I can't continue. I don't have the strength. I don't have the inclination. I've had enough. There's no option for that because climbing down. I mean, I didn't even know how you climb fucking down.
No.
Without a rope.
And it's a psychology.
Yeah,
It's a psychology.
you have to never even doubt that you're going to make it. Basically.
Yeah. And he was talking about like the first time he did like a free climb. It's like he'd been climbing with ropes for a long time, and it was this fairly impressive wall. Like even if we ignore the fact that he did something that no human has done before, like he just did a very impressive thing as his first ever. And it wasn't even like the skies parted and he had a moment of inspiration. He was just like, I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do that today. And he just leave the ropes behind and he just went for it. And he talks about that. He said he got about halfway up and he kind of lost his nerve.
Oh no.
And he had this moment where it's not like you can just take a seat and
Yeah.
think about it.
There's
like,
nothing you can. This is like the worst.
Just
My
gotta
worst
keep going.
nightmare.
But he's saying he turned it around and he sucked it up and he did it. And he got to the top and he was like, okay, that was fine, but I got lucky. And he was like,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be a lucky climber.
No.
I want to be a very good climber.
Luck
So
will
there's
run
never
out
any doubt.
eventually.
Yeah, so he
yeah.
kind of spent a lot of time kind of going back into training to get it right.
I mean, fair play. Like, I'm not just going to do it tomorrow in the state I'm currently in. Like, you only do something like that if you have. He prepared for 2 years to climb El Capitan.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Because
Still though,
I've been talking about this quite calmly. And now I'm thinking about it and I'm starting to feel a little sick just thinking about it. Because you're saying the hardest part is about 99% of the way up.
Oh my God, because you stand to lose the most.
But he was so close to the top, and he said, and he said he can hear tourists on top of the hill, on top of the mountain, kind of chatting and having picnics and stuff. But he said it's like there's a bulge coming out of the wall, and he said this bit. He said he trained for it with a rope, but he said you have to hug this protruding like sphere of stone.
You're kidding.
And he said, and you have to swing your leg up to jam onto another, like, kind of ledge. And then you have to heave your entire body up. And he said, and that was the hardest part. And he was kind of hanging there for the longest time, like, kind of just psyching himself up to do it. And he was like, and he had to feel with his toes, and he didn't quite like that grip. And he had to feel again. And then he said, well, look, the only way out of this is I just have to step on that ledge. Like, I just have to do it. And he did. He said the moment he did it, I think it was fine. And then I just scrambled like the remaining like 15
It's
meters
crazy
up
to
to the
think
top.
that he has to do something that hard at the end.
Yeah.
Because like he's been expending all of his energy all the way there.
Yeah.
You know, like you could to do one of the hardest maneuvers at the very end of the climb. Jesus.
It's insane. And he
It'd be funny if he fell off after like a foot.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
It just like
Not
scuffed
so-
his knee.
Not when you're 2.5 miles up. That's not so funny.
Well, you
knee.
can imagine like him and the film crew and they're like, this is it. This is Days for Day, history in the making, and the music swells, and he steps and slips and goes, oh, you get one. But he was saying the weird thing is, if you climb that, because a lot of people do climb it, so if you climb it with ropes, when you get to the top and you fling, you lumber over the edge, he said everybody gathers round and everyone's like, whoa man, did you just climb that? That's insane. Like, you're so cool. And you get this big crowd. But when you climb it without ropes,
Yeah.
everyone's having picnics and stuff, and he just kind of like pulls himself up onto the top.
No one cares.
No one bats an eyelid.
Yeah.
And yet he's done something way bigger.
Yeah, and then he said, then he just kind of just walked off, and no one cared at all.
That's mad.
And he said the weirdest part was he walked down the gentle road down the back way, and he took his shoes off because his feet were tired, and everyone's like, whoa, man, are you hiking without shoes? That's hardcore.
Well, I've actually just climbed it, so
I don't want to brag, but
Why do you hate it then?
I hate it because
We've not got to that bit yet.
it's true. You've been speaking very like admiring.
I love
admiring.
it and hate it. It's an odd one. I hate it because it's possibly the most transcendentally terrifying thing I can imagine.
for sure.
Like it is. In my life, I am kind of scared of sticking sex. I really don't like sticking sex at all.
Okay.
But that's a different kind of fear.
You'd probably survive a stick insect
I could
attack.
probably climb over a stick insect.
Plus, they are delicious.
Yeah.
God. Yeah. But
It's like a mini stick of turtle.
I just the climbing, the hikes. Like I'm getting worse as I get older. Like I'm getting more scared of heights as my body becomes frailer.
I'm not scared of heights. I'm scared of falling from those heights.
My good friend Dave at his stag do, we did this thing called coasteering, where we were in this sort of flooded quarries. It's like an artificial lake, and the walls of it are, I say in inverted commas, climbable.
Sure.
Not to someone like me, that's
Yeah.
for sure. But the sort of thing, the game is you're swimming out in this lake. You got like a floaty life preservery thing on, and then you climb up a face to a certain height, and there are various ones planned all around the edge, and then you jump back into the water.
Oh.
And that's the essence of it. So it started off, we did a few like 5 foot, 6 foot climbs. You know, it's easy to jump the height of yourself back into the water again, no worries. Then we did like a 10 metre or 15 metre one. And already part of our group had backed out. Like, I'm not doing that. You're just looking up the cliff. It's like, I'm not climbing up there. And I stupidly was like, no, I'll do that.
Yeah, sure.
I'll do that. And it wasn't even like a classic rock climb. It was like a ladder climb. It was like a rope ladder that they dropped down. And then you get up to this ledge, which was less than a foot thick. And it had to sort of like sidle along this little ledge. No. And then I turned around. The instructor's up there with me. And I'm looking back down into the water. And all my friends are there in a semicircle, like looking up at me, like, way! And he's like, right, you're going to jump now. And I was like, dude, I am not. Like, that is not. Like, I thought this was all good. But actually, no.
And it wasn't.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm really not one for, like, not giving things a shot. But I was like, I'm done. Like, there's just no way. Like, I was psychologically 100% at no. And he was like, no, you're gonna jump. Because everyone always does. And I was like, but I'm the exception. And he was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to count down from 3.
No.
And when I say jump, you're going to jump. Because you will. And I was like, but I won't. But like, and he started counting. And I was like, no. I was actually saying this to him. I was like, no, there's no point in counting. He's like, 2. I was like, there's no point. Because when you get to jump, I'm not going to do it. So I don't know why you're doing this. And he said, jump, and I did. And I just jumped off the cliff. I was like, how? As I'm going down, I'm like, how did you know, you bastard?
Yeah. It's like goddamn peer pressure.
And that was it.
Yeah.
He pressured me into doing it entirely. And then, literally, after I stepped off the ledge and I was falling, I was having the most fun.
Oh, yeah.
But
Well, when you were falling.
yeah, the fall was fun, genuinely.
The thing is, when you fall, you know you're going to fall into water. It's probably less so than if you fell off, say, the Eiffel Tower.
Potentially.
Yes.
Onto concrete.
The
This is
idea
fun.
of committing to falling is the worst thing in the world. But falling is so much fucking fun. Well, it is if you know you're going to survive.
As long as you know it's fine.
I've jumped off 2 rather high things in my life, and I've regretted each instance. One, I was in Indonesia,
Right.
and I was on a boat, and we've been living on this boat
Really?
for like a week or so.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've been out in the ocean, which is kind of terrifying in itself.
Yeah.
You had to just get used to the oppressive cosmic horror of the immensity of water beneath you and just the horrors that live within. And then like one night, we were like, let's jump off the boat. Like the boat wasn't sailing at this point.
This would be a laugh.
Yeah, you know what's fun?
So the boat, I'm not very good at judging heights and stuff.
No,
but the boat was kind of like, it rose quite high out of the water,
Right.
and then you had a deck.
Yeah.
And then you had like a kind of box
Sure, like a cabin.
cabin, which had like the kitchen, and it was pretty basic. And then there were ladders going up there. Then there was another box on top where the captain with his wheel was.
Right.
And then you could go under deck as well. So it was quite basic.
Mm-hmm.
And
You're probably talking about 10 feet, maybe a bit.
Where were you
more than
jumping
that.
from? The deck or a cabin?
the top of the captain.
Oh, the very top of the whole
very
boat?
top of the boat. Yeah.
Fuck.
So 3 of us were at the top.
Yeah.
Um,
I suppose if he stands in... Yeah, no, it's more than that.
That
It was
could be like-
more
yeah.
bad because I'm like 6 foot.
20, 25 feet, something like that?
Probably yes. That
Yeah.
sounds about right. So the when we got up to the top, and it wasn't designed to be jumped off. We had to like
Very few boats consider that when they're designing
It's
them.
very inconsiderate, isn't it? Yeah.
Weird.
So we had to like pull ourselves up onto the top of this thing, and the immediate thing that strikes me is that not only do I have to jump off this boat, I have to jump with enough horizontal motion
Jesus.
to not
Yeah.
clip the side of the boat as I go down.
That's not easy.
So that's worrying. But I'm thinking, there's water beneath me.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine.
After a bit.
it's gonna be fine.
After the deck bit.
And I used to swim quite a bit when I was younger, and I was like, it's fine. I'm just,
Had you been drinking?
Only a lot.
Maybe I can't.
Only a few local lagers.
I can't remember.
10%.
10%, yeah.
But we jumped, and we cleared the railing, which is great because that would have been awful.
That's a good start.
But I was in the air long enough to regret it, which is a horrible feeling. And I did belly flop. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
And it did feel like a punch to the face.
Yeah.
We also discovered that one of the people on our trip had dentures.
Brilliant.
And
You discovered it that way.
That way.
Is that how you discovered it?
Did they lose their dentures?
Part of their dentures.
Great stuff.
And
Great
then the
stuff.
trip continued.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great stuff.
The other thing I jumped off was when I lived in Canada.
Oh yes.
You may have even been there. Actually, I'm not sure.
Where was
When
this?
it was in Vancouver.
I was in Vancouver.
I can't remember if it was when you came to visit, but it was like a national holiday. So everyone, it was like a bank holiday. And we went to, you may have been there actually, I'm not sure. Anyway, but we went to like a kind of national park kind of thing. And there was a waterhole.
Oh yeah.
And it was beautiful sunshine, but people were jumping off a kind of rocky cliff face into a pool. And everyone was doing it.
Everyone
was doing it. And I got kind of like, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then I lost my nerve. And it went from being like John and a few mates, and everyone going like, "Oh, John, come on!" And suddenly, like more and more people kind of turning and looking. And I imagine I must have had an audience of like 200 people towards the end, and everyone was watching me not jump.
You just stood up there.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, this is bad." And eventually, I jumped, and it was horrible. But
no, I don't think I was there because I would remember that.
I just remember
you would have made special effort to remember.
No, I would have. Yeah.
But I remember our crazy drug dealing landlady. Who, I hope she's listening, who took us there.
Shout out to Danielle.
Oh, there we go. But she filmed it, and I remember that evening she just sat there laughing for hours watching the footage of me not jumping.
She was pretty baked at the time.
She must have been, because that's not a funny clip.
Yeah.
Like, however you spin it, it is funny that you didn't jump and it took ages for you to jump. But watching a video clip of a man standing at the top of a cliff doing nothing, that's not funny. That's not a funny clip.
I made the mistake of buying Cheetos when I came to visit you in Canada. Didn't have any of them. They ate all my Cheetos.
That is the biggest takeaway from this whole thing.
So, you know, that was my hate anyway. So
that was quick.
We've zoomed through that one.
No. So sorry, that's my hate. Thank you for indulging me.
It's all good.
Alex Honnold's mighty hands.
Well, no, you love those.
I love that. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
But,
Muscular, thick
You
hands.
could be touched by those hands.
he punched nature right in its stupid face.
Literally, it's cliff face.
But no, I hate the fact that this is a thing. Good for him though.
Yeah.
Well done, if you are him.
Okay.
Go on then.
I hate it, and this is quite specific to me and being an artist.
Oh, sure.
But other artists, I think, will understand it.
I don't understand.
What is art?
No.
What is art?
What is art? No. I hate it when people use the criticism, it looks like a penis. To your art.
How often does that happen?
Surprisingly, quite a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Surprisingly, annoyingly, quite a lot. Anything? Oh, thank you. You just handed me.
I'm just
Sorry,
giving you a beer.
And for the listener at home, non-alcoholic beverages are being passed around the table.
I hope you enjoy this can of Panda Pop.
Oh, a can of Panda Pop.
No, but it's bottles, was it?
It
Panda
was
Pop?
bottles.
Little stubby bottles.
Little stubby bottles.
Just sorry, tell us about your.
Oh yeah,
penis.
something about art.
So, whenever you draw anything that is slightly snake-like, worm-like, cylindrical.
Oh sure.
There will be some. Out of the woodwork will come a comment like, "It looks a bit like a penis." Like my
Penis.
tutor at uni said it about a friend of mine who drew characters that were basically worms. He would draw worms, and they had like little bow ties on and little hats on, and they were basically like cylindrical shapes with a curved top and 2 dot eyes. I mean, here's a starting point. Cocks don't have 2 eyes, guys.
That's true.
Or bow ties.
Not unless you're playing a really weird game.
And then this tutor would come over and be like, it looks a bit phallic, doesn't it? It's like, well, yes, it does. I suppose it looks a bit phallic. Howard, I think that was his name. I don't actually know. Shout out to Howard. But so does anything else. Like this isn't a point. This isn't worth mentioning. Like you could say a skyscraper is phallic. In fact, people do. You could say a straw coming out of a drink is phallic. This doesn't add anything to the world saying this. Like, what's the point? What is your point? And this came to a head. I'm so sorry.
Penis.
Recently, because I had to present some artwork to a client, and I won't name them or their business, obviously. But we had two concepts.
Google.
Yeah. Was this for the Steve Irwin Google Doodle?
Yes, it was. Yeah, there were so many cocks in that.
There was, yeah.
Steve rejected it.
Surprising.
And there were two concepts that we were presenting. One was a lot more sort of design led, and one was a lot more illustration led. And I obviously did the design.
And I know what those two terms mean.
Oh yeah.
So well, okay.
Sure, whatever.
Because obviously you guys understand.
Oh, of course.
But for the Philistines out there, one's very sort of typography and layouty sort of.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Illustration is drawings.
I don't follow
Pictures.
you on Twitter.
Pictures created by a hand.
They're like photographs, but when someone draws them.
Oh, I see.
There you go.
Thank God for you. So I did the more illustrated version, and it involved a character whose head was a sort of worm shape. Like, he just sort of... Like, his neck continued into his face, into his head.
Sure.
He didn't have any hair. He was just a sort of wormy, kind of like Earthworm Jimmy, kind of, I guess.
I was about to say, they did a good job of not making Earthworm Jim look like a penis.
But I'm sure someone said it, or it looks like a penis. Anyway, so we present these concepts. We present the design concept first, and he flicks through that. Oh, I like this. Yeah, this is really, really... This is the managing director of the company. Oh yeah. And he's one of those people who's like, he's quite old, maybe he's in his like late 50s, and everyone in the room is clearly terrified of him and just agrees with whatever he says because he will fire you instantly.
Oh yeah.
Like he rules with fear. And then it comes on to my design. It's like, what's this? It's ridiculous. We're a serious company. What is this? This little man looks like a penis. I'm not going to look at any more of this. He genuinely got angry about the design. And we had like pages and pages of presentation. I had drawn maybe about 20-25 images featuring this character for this concept.
Like you really thought that penis had legs.
Yeah.
Like,
he did. He could do so much. I'd created animations with this penis. With this character. Right? And
lovingly rendered that penis.
Yeah, we were halfway through our presentation and we had another half to go. We were like, this was going to be 20 minutes of me presenting all of this stuff.
Shit.
And he just shat on the very first thing that he saw, and he was like, it was so weird how personally offended he was, considering he'd chosen us as an agency. We'd won the competition. We were the chosen agency. It was now a question of us showing our ideas to him. So he was on board. Like, he liked what we do, but he decided that whether it was showing off in front of everyone else or he was genuinely angered by it, he was like, we're a serious company. We can't have stuff like this, like on our brochures and on our website. He looks like a penis, for God's sake. It's just like, but he doesn't, though, man. Like,
Oh, he's like, with a #1 name in novelty boobs.
Yeah.
You know, in Halloween boobs.
Well,
you'll make us look like a laughing stock.
This is hardly the look I want for dildos or us.
Oh, you haven't even drawn the bell.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay. And so I was just like paralysed. Like,
what do I say?
And then Adam was with me. He was presenting with me. He was like, all right, well, we'll skip that idea then. And I was like, to what, Adam? Like, that's it. That's all we have. So we just went back to the idea that he liked. And we just talked a bit more about that. And he was like, yes. And everyone else in the room clearly were kind of embarrassed by what he'd done and said, but they couldn't say anything. So they were all just kind of, I looked around deliberately, like, as a sort of like, what do you guys think? Kind of thing, because I'm fucking like loving this. I mean, I wasn't loving it, but at the same time, I didn't take it that personally because I knew he was a twat, so it didn't matter. It didn't really bother me. But I was just looking around, just like, this is really awkward.
I love the fact that you're determined to make eye contact
I
with
really
everyone.
was.
I think that's probably quite important to get some support in the room.
Yeah, I was maybe hoping to see, like, you know, Larry in the corner just going, oh, right, penis man.
Yeah, really digging
I'm into it. But everyone was like looking down at their laps or looking down at the like deck that we put in front of them and stuff. They were so afraid to like make any noise at all.
The thing is, like, when someone raises that argument, because I imagine really what we're talking about here is a kind of girth length ratio kind of thing. Where,
Sure.
You know, there are certain things where you go like, well, it's very clearly a cylinder, but it could not be described as a penis.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Once those numbers shift in a certain direction, so if he turns around and goes, "It looks like a penis," you know, it's like with the best will in the world, you can't disagree in a weird way. We're like, well, yes, on the basis that it is the length of the cylinder is.
But it's almost like he proves his point because, you know, his if we got down this road, his counterpoint could have been, well, if anyone viewing it thought it looked like a penis, then we failed. And he's already proved that to be true because he's the one person who thought it looked like a penis. Even if he's the only person who thinks it looks like a penis, the fact that anyone would think it looks like a penis immediately discredits the idea.
What you should have said,
Yeah.
and I cannot stress enough, do not do this in a pitch, ever, anyone. You should have gone, what does your penis look like? That would have been quality.
That would have been
Class.
That would have been superb. Oh man, if I could go back, if I got a time machine tomorrow, that's what I would do.
There
I
you
would
go.
go back and ruin my entire
Zero
career.
repercussions.
But you raise an interesting point though, because statistically, there's going to be one in a, one in 200,000 people is going to go, that's a dick, isn't it?
Yeah.
And maybe if he wanted to make that point, maybe if he'd wanted to say, I don't think it looks like a penis, but maybe someone would think it looked like a penis. That would still probably piss me off in the sense that it doesn't look like a penis.
No.
But he would maybe have a point in the sense that maybe we don't want to go down the road where someone might say, our mascot looks like a dick.
But it's not like statistically there are like 1,000 people in the country who are idiots. That's
That's
what
the
you're
thing.
saying.
Why
Yeah,
are we
like-
catering to them?
Yeah.
And when I got back after the presentation, I was sort of thinking about it, and I was just Googling like mascots and characters and things. So many dicks. No. And I realised that the character I designed unconsciously looked a hell of a lot like the IKEA man. The little dude in the how to put your wardrobe together diagram.
Really?
Yeah. That's what he
That's
looks
the
like.
penis.
And that's a penis, apparently.
Wow.
So everyone out there listening to this podcast now, you know what this man's penis looked like. It looks like the little IKEA man who helps you assemble a wardrobe.
I'm kind of imagining you like coming back to the office, and for some reason it's like 1950s design agency
Yeah, that's what it's like.
in New York. And
Yeah.
You're wearing a suit. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. I mean, the label, and you just, oh fuck, it is a penis.
And I've just drawn this veiny, bulging,
and
like
it's got
glands.
photorealistic.
Oh no! You know what? Actually, in the line, in this line,
Yeah.
But-
Now you mention it.
it actually is a colossal dick.
Or like
Fuck.
you just rotate the image 90 degrees. Oh yeah, no, it's dicks.
Oh no,
dicks
it's a
for days.
swastika. That's much worse.
Turn it back.
Do you remember the Christmas lights in Gloucester that look like
God.
swastikas?
Oh god.
Yeah, the happy snowflakes.
Yeah, they look like they lit up a
No.
certain way. They look like swastikas.
Oh,
What he was probably doing, in a business sense,
oh yeah. Tell me.
business,
Business.
is because he liked your first idea. You said he was probably very complimentary about that,
He was very complimentary, actually. Yeah.
and then as a result, he's overreacted the other way
In
to
order
your second design in order to make you be on your toes still.
Interesting. Yeah, I've had people do that in meetings and pitches before.
People
They
want to be in control.
Love to do that with creatives as well because they like to think that you are a sort of wishy-washy, lefty, like sensitive, emotional bellend who doesn't understand business.
Yeah.
And so I know what I'll do. I'll test them.
Yeah.
It's like fuck
I'll
off.
test their metal.
I don't. Why? Like you've asked me to create some creative for you. Why do I need to be tested on
Yes.
my fucking
So
stuff?
there's a subconscious hatred there.
Yeah, oh,
Because
yeah.
They hate the fact that they have to turn to you. They cannot.
Oh my god. Yeah.
They cannot understand why. Why are we getting these weird, penis obsessed, kind of
Socialist snowflakes into
these
our office.
socialist liberal weirdos coming in here? I could draw a logo,
Yeah, you could make
and
it.
then he perfectly does the Nike swoosh. Like,
God damn it!
Something like
But
this.
then he
Something
doesn't
like
stop.
this.
He doesn't stop drawing. He just draws veins on it, and then there's pure. It's like, dude, what, dude?
like a moment, and then he gets ushered out. And goes, no, this is. All this penis talk is going to our eggs. Gentlemen, we need to get back to basics. I'll draw a logo. Smash cut. Oh, it's a penis.
I get it now.
You just get a montage of rolled up pieces of paper hitting the bin and the rim of the bin. And he goes, gentlemen, I think we've cracked it. And it's penis.
It's exactly what I drew.
He goes, gentlemen, if there are three powerful things that underpin our company, it's one, our circular approach to supply and demand. Two, the circle of friendship into which we bring our customers. And three, the long road to success. Oh, except penis.
Oh, God.
I mean, everyone's like smoking and they've rolled their sleeves up and they're just walking around this logo.
It's just everywhere. It's on napkins. It's on coasters. It's drawn on the desk. Like fuck, it's everywhere. We've drawn cocks everywhere.
What if we? Oh no! Right back to penis. Let's go.
And then someone's just like, well, that's it then. I guess we'll go with it.
Yeah. Call you back up. Yeah, we'll have it.
And then smash cut 10 years later, there's a skyscraper with a colossal neon penis on the front of it.
I'm trying to think of like with that logic though, with anything like long
Yeah, this is the thing.
is a penis.
Anything long.
But I'm trying to think of other logos you might break it down to. Like, what's a logo that's circular? Someone might go
Pepsi Max logo.
Pepsi Max. You can't use that. It just looks like a tit,
Yeah, it looks like a tit, doesn't it, mate?
like a singular tit. Yeah.
Anyone can find a way to discredit a design. That's the thing I've discovered. Being
Yeah.
a fucking designer.
It's very easy to shit on design.
It's so easy to shit on it. I've spent hours, days sometimes on this. And you told me, like, the amount of drawings I've done, I cannot stress enough
No one's ever
how
seen
many
it.
drawings I've drawn. And he didn't look at any of them. He looked at one. The worst one, potentially. I don't know why I started with that one.
Led with the one that looked like a penis.
That must be a terrifying place to begin. Like, the idea that you come up with like 12 ideas and he instantly just throws 6 of them out the window and you've got to fill an hour. It's like, oh God.
Yeah.
And you're like sketching under the desk, like, what can I come up
On a
with?
napkin, yeah.
In the same client, we before we did this, we rebranded their logo, and we were coming up with like different ways to present. The company began with a V, so we were like hanging it massively on.
We're
the V
narrowing
shape.
it down, aren't we? Started with a V.
So it started with vaginas, then it went to no.
Yeah.
And like one of the concepts I presented, I was like, this is the best one. It was my design. I was like, I think this is really good, and everyone in the studio was like, yeah, we've nailed it. with
Always
this one.
piquant. Yeah.
He's like, looks like a superhero emblem, doesn't it? That was his way of discrediting that one.
Yeah.
And I actually in the meeting I just went, but that's a good thing. Like superhero emblems, indicate power, strength, but they're iconic. They're like strong. They're powerful emblems. Like the way I take that, and I literally said this to him in the meeting, so the way I take you saying that is in a vote of support, like that you like it. But he was clearly trying to present that as a negative. So I mean, this guy had no idea. Obviously, like that's what we can all take away from this. But yeah.
We've had clients before where we've done their logo and we've like completely redone it and done something crazy. Not crazy, or they saw it as crazy. And then they end up going with something incredibly similar to their existing logo.
Yeah.
Like so similar, and it's just like, well, what was the point of all that?
And you spent all that money and time developing, and you
Yeah.
just went back to something that was like,
That's how a lot of companies, like so many big companies, rebrand and it looks so similar to their existing logo, and companies get millions for doing that.
But they're like,
mental.
Oh yeah, like it's so
Oh,
much.
yeah, we've got it.
I recently spent a day in a kind of branding workshop because the company I work for
company
is undergoing a brand update.
Oh, wonderful.
So we had the brand expert from the agency who has been helping with the brand update come in.
Everything's in inverted commas.
And he gave a talk about
Seminar.
So he was trying to get his like kind of like
To people.
nice enough guy, but was very like marketing. I was trying to get like high end, like
We
high.
can apply this digitally and in print to the same spec.
My God, you know, the third industrial revolution. You know, but he's like, but he goes like. He's trying to get us to think outside the box. He was giving us stats. So let's assume, for the purpose of anonymity, that I work in the cattle industry, shall we say?
Let's say that.
I buy and trade cattle.
Love it.
And he goes, "Did you know? Like, we need to think about new opportunities. Did you know? Last year, 320,000 cows, shall we say, were
Yeah. Please finish this.
stayed at home while getting their education."
Okay, you fucked it.
None of those cattle went to Bovine University
So he said that, and he goes,
of Gloucestershire.
So-
Oh, God.
"Oh shit!" So he says this number. He goes, "Oh yeah, 320,000 cows, you know, got their education at home or whatever."
Right.
And he goes, "Isn't that amazing?" And the room is kind of like quiet, and someone goes, "What's that a percentage of?" He goes, "Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that." He goes, "That's not important. Let's not focus on." Let's not
You can ask about. Do the fucking research then.
But
Yeah, if you knew, why didn't you have an answer?
But then I went like, "But has that gone up or down?" He says, "Well, I don't know that." And thankfully, there was a bit of chatter in the room because I kind of lost my rag, and I just went, "Well, it's just a number, then, isn't it? It doesn't mean anything." And I caught the eyes of like one person at the other end of the room. We both looked at each other like, "Are we mad? Like, what's happening?" He goes, "Here's a number."
Here's a number, an arbitrary number that means something
Hey guys,
to someone.
can you believe 7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did you know? Apparently, 500,000 cans of Pepsi were drunk last year. That's good, isn't it? I'm like, I don't know, is it?
I mean, that's some.
How much were drunk last year? That's not important.
That's not important.
No.
Is it more? I don't know.
What's important now? I think we're losing track. What's important is we focus on the number. Well, it's just a number. It doesn't mean anything.
Oh god.
Marketing. Fuck it.
God love it. Yeah.
You got hate, Chris?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Nick. No.
Oh.
But what I do have...
Oh.
What I do have is a post that I'm going to copy and draw inspiration from.
Steal.
Okay. So I have a post here from Imogen. I assume that's how it's pronounced.
That's definitely how it's pronounced.
I hate it when people try to make you feel bad for disliking something, like this show, even though it has no personal effect on them, like this show. For example, I was expressing a dislike for double barrel names that are all the same. Brackets, you have double the chance to be creative. Why is it always Lisa Marie? And it was followed by...
yeah, like Anne-Marie or something, yeah.
Followed with, well, my cousin's called Jamie Lee, so you hate her name in a snappy tone.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was getting at, was that I hate double barrel names.
It's interesting that you have to... I'm going to pretend like I've just read that for the first time.
Yeah. It sounded like it.
Tell you what, why don't you pretend that it's just yours?
I'm going to pretend that I've only just read that, and then I'm going to make something up that's vaguely related to it.
Oh, brilliant, I see.
No, I'm just going to pretend. It's all scripted, this.
Cool.
So... It's funny how you have to basically pretend that you don't dislike something when someone calls you out on it.
Yeah.
It's a weird social thing, isn't it? That you have to say, oh, actually, I really like that person. I did it at university once.
Oh, yeah.
There was a drummer in Oasis called Tony McCarroll.
Oh,
who was in the original Oasis lineup. And I was standing outside a nightclub slagging him off. At university. This is a true story.
Oh no, he's behind me, isn't he?
And I was like, oh, Tony McCarroll's a shit drummer, because that's the story that goes along if you watch the Definitely Maybe documentary. That's apparently true.
I see. Okay.
According to Noel Gallagher.
Right,
so someone goes to me, oh, he's my uncle. And because I'd had a few drinks, and I'm not proud of what happened next, I went, well, next time you see him, tell him he's fucking shit. And I walked off. But normally, if I was sober...
I see, so the example
I'd have gone,
you chose for this is the time that you didn't do
the total opposite.
Yeah.
But if I had been sober, normally I'd have gone, oh, I'm terribly sorry.
Oh,
it wasn't that bad, and you backtrack, wouldn't you? And why is that?
Yeah,
why is that?
That is a good point.
I have an example of where I did what I thought you were going to do.
Yeah.
With that anecdote, where when I was again in Canada, I went to a comic convention and I saw a leading comic professional act, I believe, quite rude, quite badly towards some fans.
Oh yeah,
right.
Where he wouldn't even talk to them or acknowledge them, and had an assistant follow him around who would then talk to them on his behalf and refer to him kind of in like the third person the whole time. I thought it was really rude. And I remember recounting that story to somebody
oh no
in the UK, thinking,
no,
it's like 1,000 miles.
This will never bite me in the ass.
And I remember saying that, and they go, actually, he's quite a close personal friend. And having to backpedal on that, like that was really. What? I was like, oh, maybe he was having a bad. Is it hot in here? Or is it just me?
It's amazing, isn't it? That the social protocol is to backtrack, not to stick to your guns.
I'm like, he was being really rude.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
It's not my fault. It's true.
Which is why it's safe to just never have opinions. I feel.
That is.
It's like when you're at a restaurant and. You're like, oh, this is a bit claggy, this meal, isn't it? Oh, no, I'm not sure about this. Then the waitress comes over. Everything all right with your meal?
Oh,
fantastic,
lovely,
absolutely lovely.
lovely.
Thank you very much. Oh, I'll have another.
I think I'll have more actually.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Great value.
I feel that's very much the ethos of our show, and I think because if
what's that?
No, I just feel like because if anyone ever. I say anyone, if any of us three ever kind of came up with a genuine, horrifying hatred, I think we'd all just be like,
dude, what the fuck?
Oh my god, like the show is dead. What have you done? Like,
you've ruined it.
This is the whole point. Like it
has to be trivial.
Yeah, it has to be trivial. And it's okay to it's like saying, oh, I really hate walking. And then people might. Maybe this ties into your comment the other week about taking offence, and people might go, well, actually, walking is. I love walking. It's great. What's wrong with you?
The blood sugar.
Yeah, probably.
It is funny. I'm glad that Imogen stuck to her guns. And,
Oh, Imogen, is that how it's pronounced?
yeah.
Oh, well, I've messed up there, haven't I?
You really goofed it.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It's almost like the words were in front of you, and all you had to do was read
All I
them.
had to do was read them aloud as if they were just normal words.
Did
But
you
I
have-
thought, no, I'm going to do this slightly wrong, so it's funnier.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because it's all
Well,
scripted, this.
Well, no.
It's all completely scripted. I have another one here.
Oh, wow. It's almost like that first hate didn't quite fill the quota.
Fill enough time.
Yeah.
It's
no,
almost like that,
yeah,
but it's
yeah,
scripted, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I've lost my page, hold on. Yeah, go on.
Go on, you're up to date. I've got one here from Simon.
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 Hello. Simon. Hello.
Friend of the show.
Psychic Simon. He's got one called I Hate Goldfish. They are pointless non-pets. I had a goldfish.
Wow.
Did you?
When I was a youngster, yeah. It died while I was on holiday.
Oh.
It's called Roger.
Did it go to live on a farm?
It went to the fish farm.
One day I'm going to buy a farm. And
Well, it was never entirely confirmed to me what happened, but it went next door,
What?
and I heard. I don't know why.
How did a fish get next door?
Well, no, they.
Did
no,
it get out
well,
of
no,
its
we
tank?
took it next door. My mum took it next door before we went on holiday. He didn't.
I see.
He didn't
Oh.
jump out of his bowl through the letterbox and go next door.
Oh, the fish has got out again.
Fish has got out.
Oh, look at him. Oh, someone. Oh,
Someone
he's running,
catch up with him. Oh, he's getting away.
he's running amok.
Oh, there's
Oh.
a lake. Oh, no.
Oh, not the curtains. Flounder. Oh, God. no.
Roger.
Roger.
Anyway, the fish went next door,
Right, okay.
and I think their cat got it.
Do you think?
Bastards.
That's what I am led. Well,
Cats
that's what
like-
I believe
Cats
happened.
like fish.
It was, I was protected from the truth slightly.
Well, Nick
Maybe.
owns a fish now, so he can talk. No, you own a
cat?
I
cat.
definitely don't
No,
know
hang on a
fish.
minute.
This is falling apart.
Am I
this.
dying? Is
Ever
this
since
how
I
it-
went off script, this is going to shit.
Wait. Flip. I'm caught
And
up.
we're back.
I agree that any pet that involves like a huge amount of outlay in terms of equipment, you know, like terraria, aquaria,
Oh, I see.
yeah,
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria,
Hungaria.
Hungary.
What's the other Garia? Hungaria.
Garia, Linacaria,
Garia.
that sort of thing. You know, anything that you've got to buy. Like, I know you've got to buy some shit for
Oh,
a dog
yeah.
or a cat, but
Boy, have you.
yeah, but you don't have to buy a fucking heated, filtered, fucking glass thing like huge
Tank.
That's
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
That's
Yeah,
it. God, I wish I was looking at the script. That would really help.
You mean you
that would have been
don't
good there.
keep
Line.
your cat in a
What's
tank?
the line?
No, I don't keep this cat in a tank. Well, past cats, obviously. I
Yeah.
kept those in tanks, but this one's tank free.
I think as long as it's got holes in it, it's fine to keep
Yeah.
it in the tank.
Yeah, drill some holes in
Drill
the
some
tank.
holes in the tank.
Yeah, just
I
fill
think
it
it'd
up.
be fine.
Fill it up.
Buy
put
an
the cat in.
ex-military tank.
Oh.
Drill some holes in
Oh,
it.
I see. Oh.
Really, no, that's clever.
What
Isn't it?
delightful wordplay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're done with hate.
Anyway, that was my hate.
Wow, really pulling your weight tonight.
Well, I am, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, do tell.
Because I wanted to involve the audience more. But it turns
Oh.
out Nick and John, audience, don't like your hate. So next time I'll
No,
be
they were
back with
shit.
my own, and it'll be fantastic.
No, the thing is, we have to hate on all the public's hate. Because
Oh,
that riles them up and then they'll get more hate.
Yes.
It's just
With
fuel.
the Piers Morgan of podcasts.
It was more that I
Oh,
wanted
don't
to
get me
involve the
started on
audience rather than I couldn't think of my own hate at such short notice.
To be honest,
even though
I
had-
nearly didn't have one as well. But I was considering like deploying images as well, and it's lucky that I came up with one.
That is lucky.
I feel like first time ever I did my research. I came to
And yours was very well thought out,
Thank you.
John.
Yeah, can I give you a love?
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yeah, all right.
I love it when. That's it. I'm done. All right, that's it. I love it.
I love it.
I love it when bros run for office.
Oh god. What?
And,
Oh, no.
Okay, so disclaimer:
yes.
bros running for office on a national level has inched us ever closer to the apocalypse. However, on a smaller level, let's say I work in the cattle industry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
let's wheel that metaphor out.
And let's say that some of the cattle organise themselves into a kind of union, if you will, that
Sure.
works alongside the.
Do they open a
farm-
bar or
They
anything?
maybe have a bar,
Cool.
and
Milk bar.
occasionally they hold. That's very good. They hold elections.
Wasn't really.
Something to do with others.
Yes,
There's got to be a pun in there somewhere.
Probably. Some of them have
but
others.
they hold elections.
for the union.
Elected
The cow
cattle
union.
officers
Right.
of the cow union.
Sure.
Okay, so I think we've successfully hidden my.
Yeah,
my
I think
area.
that's very good.
Beautifully.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's excellent.
Anyway, so to drop the facade lately and to add the, I'm just gonna, okay. I've experienced this in the past. I've experienced it at places I work, but when students run.
Well, that's that.
Okay, I'm just putting it out there. I said, but no,
I can't help but feel the last 3 minutes has been a complete waste of time.
After the high of your hate segment.
Well, we got through it.
Well, God help me, we're going to get through this.
That's the mission statement of the show called
Okay.
Well, we got through another one, guys.
When I was at university, let's roll it back to a personal experience. When I was at university, I remember in the final year of uni, a friend of mine, she was running for one of the elected officer positions of the Students' Union.
Sure.
Now, I did not engage with the Students' Union other than to drink in the building where they were located throughout my 3 years at university. I was perhaps the worst kind of student. I did not engage in any way, shape or form.
No.
However, this friend of mine, she was much more engaged, and she was like, I'm going to run for one officer.
Oh, sure.
And I remember they were outside the union building campaigning one day, because the elections only run for a few days, you know.
Right.
And you might get tons of people going for one role. And I remember chatting to her, and she was saying how dispiriting she found the whole thing, because she was running on a platform. Like, she had kind of like,
Oh, really?
I want to do X, I want to do this, I want to kind of bring these
she was
changes
taking it
in.
seriously.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she was running against a
It's a
guy.
popularity contest.
And she was running against a guy who I also happen to know,
Oh.
who had a dance.
Right.
As in, like, it was like, vote for Dave.
And I'll do the dance.
I'll do the dance. He's doing it. He's doing it. Let's give him all of our votes. And
The thing is, I definitely would have voted
I
for
know.
Dave.
Yes,
so would I.
This is my
Shit.
point. I love it, but it's also horrible. Like, it also just makes a mockery of the whole thing. But it's also, I love how stupid it is at the same time. So, like, and then the other example is this guy is running for like the sports officer, and everyone had like a little manifesto on the website, and it's like, you can go like, you know, a vote for Kenneth is a vote for equality. That's good. Oh, yeah,
that's
Kenneth.
good.
That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, that's nice.
And he goes like, vote for Denise. I'll make everyone's grades better. Oh,
Yeah.
Denise, that's great.
Good for Denise.
And there's like Alex, and it's like, vote for Alex. And the slogan is like, I shit you not, it's like, sports for life, sports for everything! Exclamation mark! And I cannot imagine.
And the crowd goes wild.
I can only imagine his slogan as a shout, as a full,
Sports for life!
Sports for life!
It should just have been sports.
Yeah, with 100 exclamation marks.
It's not a
Sports.
For one guy who's like on the. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Students' Union television. We're going to be debating the key issues in the lead up to the election. Joining us, we have Kenneth, who is pledged towards equality. We have Denise, who has pledged herself to raise student achievement. And we've got Alex, who's got a sick kegger over there. He's like, yeah, sports!
He's topless. Spinning.
Alex, who's an absolute legend. Alex, come on!
Alex, come on! Come on down!
Lads.
And you just know, like, his entire rugby crew are in, like, the front two rows.
And there is no way that anyone will beat him. It is done. It is decided.
Oh, he's doing the dance!
He's doing the dance.
Ah, fucking Alex there. What a legend. Absolute unit.
I'm glad he won.
Yeah, I believe in him.
So, as bad a person as it makes me, I love it when bros run for office. It's so...
Oh, brilliant. Okay,
What's your love, Nick?
I've got one for you. I love...
Let the record show Nick's looking at his phone at this point.
Yeah, I've got some visual aids.
Oh, some visual aids.
I love Windy Meadow Popovich.
Sweet Jesus.
That is the pedigree
I don't
name.
understand 2 of those 3 words.
That is the pedigree name of my new cat.
Oh, he lied.
He lied.
I
lied.
know, I had to because it would spoil the surprise.
Oh,
But
I don't like surprises.
it's not the fact that I love the cat. I do love the cat, but that's
Okay.
not the love. I love her name. And I also have her family tree here.
Oh,
So she's called Windy Meadow Popovich. That's her. That's her name, right? Her dad was called Windy Meadow Aladdin. Right?
Okay,
So I guess that's
yeah.
where the Windy Meadow bit came in.
Wait, so Windy
I would-
Meadow is the family name?
I don't know, because the mum was called Mia Biase Angelica.
Maybe she married in.
But But one of her grandparents is called Malbrant Cream Crusader.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
He's a cream crusader.
Daisy's got a kennel name.
Really?
It's something. I think it's like Bohemian Queen.
That's incredible.
It's something.
Why are they always
yeah.
so fucking amazing? The thing is, right, if you Google Windy Meadow, there's a history to the Windy Meadow name.
The tribe.
Family. And Dumpling, our cat, who is Windy Meadow Popovich, is mentioned briefly.
Really?
She won like a second place
So,
at a thing somewhere.
sorry,
The cat version of Crufts.
who was Cream Buster again? What was that name?
Cream Crusader
Cream Crusade.
was her grandfather on her mother's side.
And who was the mother who married him?
Mia Biase Angelica.
So Cream Crusader is like standing by the fireplace, like
Yes,
swirling a ball.
It's like, oh, yes.
He's like, that whore. She married.
She married for money and the name. She's no daughter of mine.
She just did it for the Windy Meadow estate.
Yeah.
They piss
Well-
on everything they own.
Well, good luck to her. I'm sure we won't see a penny.
So one of her granddads on her her granddad on her dad's side is called Gargantuan Casper. So like, think Casper the Friendly Ghost, but colossal.
Oh God.
One of her great grandparents is called Soracube Crazy Daisy.
Hey!
Daisy got in there, which is pretty good.
I remember my childhood dog had a kind of name. It was Bulgarian Wolf Boy.
Whoa!
He was like, where has that come from?
Wolf Boy, all one word.
I think so.
I mean,
That's
that's
fantastic.
just great.
We called him Sammy, but you know, whatever.
I think my old dog Dill. I think he was
Kennel names are cool.
Elijah. He was Elijah something.
Okay.
Yeah, Elijah Wood. He was
Elijah
Elijah Wood. Yeah. Gargantuan Casper.
Gargantuan
That's
Casper.
outstanding.
Yeah.
So what's the family name? Is it the first one or the second one?
Well,
do
it
you think?
seems to be that the offspring takes the father's first name. So Gargantuan Casper's dad was called Gargantuan Nijinsky.
Of course he was.
But where? Yeah, where
But then
do
I
they
don't know
come
where
from?
that Gargantua came from, because Gargantua Nijinsky's parents were called Dornica Michelangelo and Romancing Dancing Queen. So,
Romancing dancing.
yeah, there's one called Westway's Bobby Dazzler. That was one of the great.
This is like Alan
grandparents.
Partridge doing horse racing. Christ's chin.
Christ's chin.
Mrs. Boothroyd's holiday dancer.
One here
Alf
called.
Ramsey's porn dungeon.
Christ chin.
Maybe my favourite great grandparent is Kenneth Chocolate Crunch. Chocolate Crunch, all one word.
Chocolate Crunch.
Kenneth
Brilliant.
Chocolate Crunch.
Kenneth Chocolate Crunch.
He died in mysterious circumstances
So I
after
guess
a bar
my,
of dairy milk.
I guess my love is pedigree names. Jesus, I
Wow.
spat beer all over my
Oh,
face.
Yeah,
at one point
yeah.
in there.
it's good to laugh, isn't it? I just in these times, I just
Austere times.
These times.
Cream Crusader.
Cream Crusade, and that's two words. That's like a hyphenated. So Imogen wouldn't like this because it's a double barrel.
And that was like the surname, wasn't it?
yeah, Cream hyphen Crusader.
Jesus.
He really did crusade.
God, what a time to be alive. What's your love?
Well, it is animal related as well.
Oh, sweet.
I go on a lot of dog walks
No.
with my dog.
Yes.
Please
And
explain.
we're joined by other dogs from the local neighbourhood. One of those being a beagle called Ludo,
I've
who
heard
you'll,
tell him.
you'll both be familiar with. We were coming home from a walk, and I didn't even realise I loved this until I actually saw it. But he stuck his head out the window all the way home, and I could not stop laughing. We were right behind them all the way home, and it's just his head going, this is amazing. This is amazing. A dog, him sticking his head out the window, I could not stop laughing. It was amazing.
There's very little that brings you more joy than a dog having a good time.
Just the sheer joy on his face that he got to stick his head out the window. The pure innocence of it and the beauty of that happiness
That's excellent.
was amazing. And it just, I could not stop smiling or laughing. And it was brilliant. It was great. I cannot lie.
That's really good.
That's actually quite profound.
It
though.
really is, yeah. I wish I could be as happy as that dog.
Yeah.
Like that carefree. I think
I
that's
wish
the
something
word. I
like
could be
that
happy.
something that simple could make me so happy.
Yeah,
That's
like
where
that
I'm-
dog has no fucking cares in the world. And as we said at the beginning of this show, we were ranting about more serious things before we went in, and we won't talk about that. But if we could get to a point where we just loved something as much as that dog loved wind,
Yeah.
like fuck me.
So happy. His face. I got a photo of it. It's great. I'll put it on the group when this goes up.
Do it.
It was a beautiful 5 minutes.
I'll put up Windy Meadows family tree as well.
Oh my god. Oh, I've got to say,
Considering we half-assed this, it's not been half bad, has
this has been a delight. Like I've loved this episode.
I don't know if anyone else enjoyed this, but we fucking loved it.
Well, it's not really about them.
Well, no, you're right. Actually, it isn't. Fuck them.
Jesus Christ.
We put the effort in.
Yeah. We've all had. It's been a rough month. All right.
We did miss an episode, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you know why.
It's been rough at times, but here we are. It's fine. So what love guys won? What won, guys?
Which one, love or hate?
Yeah, what won, love or hate?
I mean, I feel like one of our hates was kind of beloved.
I feel like
talking
that's
about
where
that hero climber.
For the first time, I'm feeling like love might have won.
Yeah,
I think so too.
And if your steely heart was turned towards love,
then it must be love. Yeah,
I think I'm just looking for it.
I mean, just
after my rough few weeks.
I mean, yeah, maybe I'm just like we're in quite an emotional state at the moment, but genuinely, I come out of these sessions feeling so much worse than I felt going in. But this time, like, it's great.
I feel alright.
This has been.
We've let a lot of steam off.
Yeah, this has been wonderful. Like, and I've laughed. I almost cried. That bloody Cream Crusader. So I think the kind of takeaway message is that if you look hard enough, there's a penis everywhere, love conquers all. Really.
Don't say those two things in the same sentence, though.
Well, on that note, are we done?
I think we're done.
That'll do.
How do we top that?
Yeah.
Oh, guys, well, it's been a pleasure. I guess I'll see you in a couple of weeks for yet more love and hate.
That actually sounded like a proper outro.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? So how do we normally
I feel a bit
end
uncomfortable about that.
Well, I mean, we normally do the bollocks thing that we
normally do just the chit chat, but we won't do that this time. Let's come up with something good.
Is this where it begins?
Sign off line. Rayman, take it out with the Ludo related joy.
Okay.
We'll turn it into something profound.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. No pressure though.
Oh no, all right. If you can be as happy as a dog, then do it.